What were Jim Crow laws and how did they work? Have you ever wondered how laws could shape the lives of millions? Jim Crow laws are a prime example of this. These laws were enacted mainly in the southern United States from 1874 to 1975. They mandated racial segregation, which means separating people based on their race. The justification for these laws was the idea of separate but equal. However, this was far from the truth. In reality, the facilities and services provided to African Americans were often inferior to those for white citizens. These laws affected nearly every aspect of daily life. For example, African Americans had to use separate restrooms, water fountains, and even schools. The conditions of these facilities were usually much worse than those available to white people. This segregation extended to public places like hotels and restaurants, where African Americans were not allowed to enter or had to use separate areas. The enforcement of Jim Crow laws was often brutal. African Americans faced severe consequences for breaking these laws. This included physical violence, job loss, and even death. The legal system was predominantly white, leaving African Americans with little protection against such abuses. One landmark case that solidified these laws was Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896. This Supreme Court decision upheld the separate but equal doctrine, allowing segregation to flourish across the South. As a result, Jim Crow laws expanded, further entrenching racial discrimination. From a socialist viewpoint, Jim Crow laws illustrate how capitalist systems can perpetuate inequality. Socialism seeks to eliminate class distinctions and ensure fair distribution of resources. In contrast, Jim Crow laws maintained racial and economic disparities, reinforcing white supremacy. They limited African American access to education, jobs, and public services, creating a cycle of poverty and oppression. The civil rights movement emerged as a response to these injustices. Activists fought against Jim Crow laws, advocating for social justice and equality. This movement aligns with socialist principles, as it aimed to combat exploitation and promote equal rights for all individuals, regardless of race. In the context of human rights, Jim Crow laws highlight the failures of capitalist systems to address racial inequality. True equality requires dismantling these systemic barriers and ensuring equal access to resources and opportunities for everyone. The struggle against Jim Crow laws remains a vital chapter in the ongoing fight for civil rights and social justice.